All right, guys. So we have Brittany and Tom, two America Ninja Warriors right here. Season 8, correct?
Season 8 for me, 8 and 9 for Brittany.
Okay, there
and
you go.
Ninja versus Ninja this season.
Coming
out in what, March?
Yep, March.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Well, thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedule to hang out with me and the attention viewers right now. And guys, I am super excited to be here. I mean, I got kind of a man crush on Tom anyway, especially when he started doing the American Ninja Warrior stuff. I was just super stoked to come out here and say hello to him. As you can see, he's kind of pretty much got this set up to practice all the Ninja Warrior kind of obstacles and whatnot, and it just makes me envious seeing the man cave and how it turned out. Man, this is really great. So I'm gonna be asking you guys a few kind of questions, but just kind of talking and really sharing with the attention viewers kind of how you guys got started. What was the point in all of this, your lives really, when you said, hey, this is what I would really like to do with my time? What did that look like for you guys?
For me personally, it's kind of always been where I was. I remember actually when I was 10 years old, a game called Stuntman, the PS2 came out. And I played that, and I always wanted to do stunts for a living, once I realized that was a career option. So I kind of became a jack of all trades. I did luge, I did gymnastics, taekwondo, parkour, whatever sport I could get into, I did it. And so that lent me to being able to adapt very well. And the show came on, and it started gaining popularity, and I watched it, and my family and friends watched it, and I actually was the one on the couch going, I can't do that. These people quit their jobs. They dedicate their lives to this sport to be this good. I can't compete with that. And my friends and family said, dude, you gotta try. And sent in a video, and I didn't get picked, but I found out there was a competition down in Houston, went and competed, took home top 10, first competition, second time ever touching obstacles. And I mean, that's just how it goes. Get hooked, compete more, submit again, hope you get picked, and in my case I did. Went to Vegas, and here I am.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. For me, everyone, I'm really short as it is, so when the first woman that was 5'1" got up the warped wall, everybody started tagging me, Brittany, you have to try this. Didn't know where to start. I stumbled upon a gym by accident, and I was like, this is a sign. This is what I have to do. Yeah. Filled out my first year. I actually met Tom that year, and then the rest is history.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, Tom, kind of going back to what you were saying, where you kind of doubted yourself a little bit, especially, and it's very daunting for a lot of people to kind of look, even through social media, the platforms that we have today, you kind of look at people and you go, man, I can't do that. I can't ever be what this person is doing right now. I can't ever step out and do that. I mean, fear plays a huge role, of course, in preventing people from stepping out and really accomplishing their goals and their dreams and doing what they really love to do. What are some ways you guys kind of defeat those fears each and every day?
I think for women in general, especially when this is a man-dominated sport, so many women are like, oh man, there's so many men, I can't do that. And then they see us and they're like, oh, these women are just crazy. And it's like, no, it's not really like that. 2 years ago, I promise you I couldn't do 3 pull-ups. But this year, I mean, I'm knocking out sets of 10. I'm so much stronger than I ever was. And all these women that come in, I can never do that. I'm like, yes, you can. You just have to try it. So I think it's really cool for me to be able to be so short and a woman to show people that no matter where you start, as long as you start, you can get to where you want to be. Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah, and really it's the same token. Is you talk to everyday people, and oh, that's so cool. I'd love to be able to do that, but I can't. I'm too big, I'm too small. I'm not in shape, whatever. And coming from that same mindset, you're just that much more supportive. I don't really have a whole lot of fear in general. It wasn't so much me not getting into it right away. It wasn't so much of a fear as it was just I didn't want to take someone's spot that I felt was better than me. And that was more of it. And that's even now, whenever I compete with my now friends, Daniel Gill and all the other big name ninjas, I tell them every competition, look, my goal is just to prove that I deserve to be standing here next to you guys. And it doesn't have to be that for everyone. Again, if you want to come and play on the salmon ladder, I'm not going to make fun of you for not making it up. Yeah. It's a hard obstacle, but it's fun. I'm here to coach you. So it's not so much fear in my book as it is just the self-doubt, getting over that.
But yeah, I mean, self-discipline plays a huge part in that, and kind of going back to the fear thing, just really stepping out and starting to do something, like just something every day, just a little something every day to accomplish your goals. What were kind of some of the things that you did little by little, day by day, to kind of build up that confidence where you're like, okay, this is good, I'm doing this, like I can actually, live out this Ninja Warrior lifestyle and do it?
Definitely, every time I would fail on an obstacle, it's like you get a little frustrated, but it's like the next time I would leave and then I would come back, I would try the exact same obstacle again, and little by little you can see that you're getting stronger, and then eventually you succeed on the obstacle and now you're doing it like crazy. I think that's one thing that people, today have a problem with, is they don't want to fail. But in this sport, what we've learned is the more you fail, the more you're learning, and the more you can like step forward in what you're doing and get stronger. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So definitely.
I mean, everyone falls.
Yeah.
I don't, because I'm good, but no, and really it's one of the questions I don't like getting, because everyone's like, oh, so how'd you learn, how'd you get into it? It honestly came very naturally to me. Like I said, I took top 10 my first competition. I touched obstacles one time before that, so it's just something that came naturally to me. But to get to that next level, that Vegas stage 2 level, stuff like that, it is much more discipline. When I first started working for Snap-on, I was waking up at 3 a.m. to go to the gym and lift, go to work, get done with work, go to the Ninja gym from 6 to 8, come home at 9, go to sleep and wake up at 3 again. And I did that for a while. And I remember there was one time, it was, again, 4:30 a.m., chest day, sitting on the bench, dumbbells on my knees. And I was looking at myself in the mirror going, why am I here? I'm tired. This isn't helping me work harder. This isn't doing anything. It's just beating me up. And, before the set started, I go, I'm here because this is what makes me happy. This is what drives me. Rock back, pound out the set. But it, like you said, it's that discipline. It's knowing what you want and knowing that doing these little things every day will make that difference. Again, the falls, the learning. She's seen it. Whenever I miss something, I get that much more hype. The big trampoline jump to the bar. When I came up just a couple inches short, it bounced right back up, jumping around. All right, let's go, and hit it harder. And so it's the failures that we need to use to motivate. Again, we all fail. That's how you find where your limit's at. You got to push those limits. Absolutely. They're only in your head.
So kind of going back to what you were saying, that you're a natural at this kind of stuff, and I'm going to agree with you 100% on that. You are. What was a moment kind of in your obstacle climbing career where you thought, oh man, I know what I'm doing, this is good, I don't need to learn anything else, but then an obstacle pops up, something pops up that proves you wrong? How did you take that? How did you go into that the next time?
Obviously my biggest failure in the sport was Vegas stage 1, season 8. I remember standing on the start line, a friend in the crowd going, hey man, go get it. And I looked at him and go, there's nowhere I'd rather be. And the first obstacle that year was the lily pads, the first time, or snake run is what they call it.
Yeah.
A bunch of little lily pads off kilter. And it was the first year they had it. And the big obstacle was taking people out was the third obstacle. So in my head it was, that obstacle's done, second obstacle's done, what am I doing on that third obstacle? And that was the only thing I was thinking about, is third obstacle, third obstacle, third obstacle. Buzzer went, first step on the steps, second step, I hit and I was a little off balance, and my third foot just rolled right over the top of the third step, and in the water, first obstacle. I overlooked it, and it's heartbreaking. This sport is very difficult. You submit a video, you wait, you train, you get picked, one of 600, and to make it to Vegas, you're one of 100, and then you fall on the first obstacle. One you know you can beat. Yeah. Of course you know you can beat. And that's your one shot. You don't get a do-over, you don't get a mess up, you don't get nothing. It's done. And there's people that fell in our city, in Oklahoma City, on the third obstacle. It was an 80% failure rate. It was veterans. And it's just, and that's how the sport goes. And I didn't want to go back to the hotel that night. The only thing that made me go back to the hotel was a couple veterans stopped me and talked to me and kind of pulled me out of my funk a little bit. But my whole strategy was the next year to get picked again and come back and beat it. I didn't get picked, so I went and tested. I tested as many cities as I could. I went to Vegas, and they gave me a full course run, stage 1, and I got to stare down the same exact obstacle, and I just took my time on it. I gave it that respect. Now, honestly, it was in my head. I was afraid I was going to fail it because I was respecting it too much. Like, oh God, I'm so scared. But you get done with it, and it's done. Fly through the rest of the course. Had a little hiccup at the end and almost fell in the water.
Okay.
But I was the first person to beat the course in testing. But I proved to myself, look, and again, this is something I can do.
Yeah.
That was indeed a fluke. And again, it's in that hardship that you prove your love for the sport.
Yeah.
It's super easy in that moment the moment you fall, the moment you don't get a call. I had so many friends. They didn't call you? What? No, forget them, man. You don't need them. Don't even try out for the show again. Just, you're done with it. No, this is fun, man. Why would I stop this? In that show, it's not about the money. I mean, the money's cool, but it's competing on the hardest obstacles against the best athletes, period. That's where I have fun. I'm a show-off.
Yeah.
I like being on stage.
Yeah.
I like being in front of that crowd and proving people wrong. Dude, that obstacle's super hard. That's not doable. The wing nuts this year. That was a super cool feeling to be the first person to beat this obstacle in testing and the crowd losing mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what we live for.
Brittany, a question posed towards you. A lot of athletes, a lot of competitive feels going on. I know it's a huge supportive community, but there are some athletes out there that you have looked at that you think, oh man, I want to be better because of this person.
Well, I know, like I said, for women, there's not too many women in the sport. Probably in the entire country, there are probably anywhere from 50 to 60 very, very competitive women. There are more women coming in, which is awesome. And, there could be some unknowns that we don't know about yet. But, for right now, that's kind of where it is. But it's growing for women, so that's a really good thing. I think for me, now they have a separate bracket kind of for women. So they take 2 women to Vegas. Like I tell him all the time, I'm not going for the top women. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for the men. That's not how how it used to be. It used to be men against women. We compete on the exact same course. There's no give or take. Oh, just because you're a girl, I'm going to do this. It's okay, but I'm still I want to earn a spot in the top 15 where I'm supposed to be with the guys. Because I know that I am strong enough.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. In my very first year I ever tried out, I fell on the second obstacle, and I'm kind of like him. I wanted to come back, and I want to be one of the strongest, not just women, but strongest athletes in this sport that there is. So.
Back to both of you guys, but Brittany first. You hear a lot of athletes talking about their why. What was your why?
So in the beginning, I had my grandfather. So originally I was a kind of a pre-med student, kind of thinking about going off to med school and everything. I got into this, so I decided to take a break. Actually, when I was in school, usually for medical school, you have to have you don't have to have a 4.0 GPA, but I was rocking about 3.5, 3.6, so it's not awful. You're taking biochemistry 1 and 2 and organic and all these physics. Ugh. And I had one professor that told me, he was like, "You are not smart enough to go to medical school." Just straight to my face. And I looked at him, and when I went back and I talked to my grandfather about it, who was a retired dentist, he told me that they said that he would never go to dental school because he was not smart enough. That man went to Baylor, graduated with honors, and practiced dentistry for 30 years. And he said, "Don't you ever let anyone tell you that you cannot do something. You can do anything that you want to do." And, I kind of tried to live my lifestyle like that. And so my why, my first year, I was running for him. He actually passed away about a year before that, so I decided to call myself the Blue Ninja. About blue, and I have purple for ninja versus ninja. That's a different story. But so that's my why. Is regardless of how big you are, how short you are, it doesn't matter if someone tells you you can't do something. As long as in your heart and you want and you have the willpower to do something, you can do whatever you want to do. And I want women and men to know that, regardless of anything they get told.
What do you think, Tom?
My why isn't that serious. I just like doing cool things, man. Again, it all boils down to starting with stunts, wanting to do stunts, and going into parkour and gymnastics. I I like jumping off of stuff. I like swinging off stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, laches and bar work is by far my favorite. So again, it came down to loving to play on obstacles and competition.
Yeah.
You know, and this sport is super cool. You know, you kind of asked Brittany, you know, what women motivate you and stuff like that. And this sport, you know, there's people that obviously motivate you in the fact that you want to keep up with them and beat them, but there's not a whole lot of ill will in this sport. You know, it's super supportive. You know, I don't want to beat somebody because they fell on a stupid mistake or something like that. I want to beat it because I'm a little bit faster. You know, we both hit the button. I don't want to see anybody swimming. So
everybody roots for everybody.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's such a supportive community. It's all about having fun. You know, it's so easy to take this super seriously, and you'll hear a lot of the big name ninjas. Man, I was overtrained and stuff like that. And there's people that take breaks, and it's because it didn't get fun. It wasn't fun for them anymore, and they had to step back to realize that. And that's what, you know, again, falling for me in Vegas showed me again was, you know, it hurt. And it's going to continue to hurt no matter what you do, because you are passionate about it. But in the end, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? So I do it for fun.
Yeah.
A wise teacher once said, "Do or do not. There is no try." What do those words mean to you?
Go big or go home, you know?
Yeah.
All in or none in. I mean, it's, again, why do it if you're not having fun? If you're just going to dip one toe into it and feel it out, I mean, sure, see if you like it. But I mean, once you realize you like it, go for it. I mean, if you hold back and only go half in, then, you know, you may fail at something that you could have been great at if you would have just driven towards it. And, you know, if it's something that you don't like or don't love or don't want to pursue, then don't keep dabbling in it, because you're wasting your time instead of pursuing something that you could love and you could be amazing at, because you're still letting this distract you a little bit because you want to hold on to it. You know, there's certain things in society and life and stuff that we hold on to because we feel like that's what we should hold on to. That's what we should be doing. You know, get that 9 to 5, stay in that cubicle, get that insurance, whatever it might be, because it's the safe way to live and it's the smart way to live. But there's times in sport and in regular life where, you know, if there's something you love, then go for it, man. I mean, you could fail, and failure is always an option. But use the failure as motivation. Again, it's one thing fails, try it a different way.
Definitely. Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, I hear a lot of people say, oh, I want to do this, or I'm going to try to do this, and then 6 months later they haven't done anything. It's kind of like, you know, like a sport or a business or just anything, kind of like what Tom said in life, you know, how are you going to know unless you just jump? And, you know, the jump could end up being a failure or a mistake, but, you know, regardless if that is the case, you learned from it. You know, there's always a lesson somewhere to be learned.
Yeah.
Send it, bro.
Absolutely. So, if there was one person you could go back and thank for the influence they had in your life and your career, who would it be and why? Brittany, go first.
I think, besides my grandfather, obviously, I think, you know, my mom in general, she's like super inspiring to me, like she's kind of crazy. But, you know, all through life, it was just me and her. You know, she worked really, really hard to provide for me, you know, and like, you know, gymnastics and cheerleading and that kind of stuff, you know, it's expensive but, you know, she always found a way, whether she was working 2 or 3 jobs or whatever she had to do to put me in that stuff and put food on our table and everything of that sort, like, and, you know, to this day, if there's something that I don't know, or if I need something, or if I'm crying and I don't want to talk to him, I got to call mama. Like, you know, she's going to be there and tell me, like, exactly, like, you know, it may not be what I want to hear, but, you know, she's still going to listen to me vent and cry or whatever I need. So if I could thank anybody, it's got to be her.
Gotta thank the moms out there.
Yeah. Hey, she raised me into who I am,
absolutely.
so I got to thank her for it.
Yeah.
Word to your mother. I mean, I don't have to really go back and thank someone. Thanks, bro. Fourth wall and such.
Yeah.
But, I mean, no, my dad's always been a big inspiration, you know, in his work ethic, and he's always supported me in whatever I want to do. And so is my mom. I mean, my family has always just been a big supporter. Like, outside of that, Master Henderson. My first Taekwondo instructor, just, he was one of those, he was strict, but in the way he needed to be strict. You know, he taught that discipline, that self-control, and respect that I've carried forward into my life, and that I want to try to pass on. You know, there's other times in Taekwondo where it might have gotten a little more lackadaisical with the instructions, stuff like that. But Master Henderson always, I respect him. I never feared him. I mean, dude's a monster. I mean, I don't want to fight him. Master Henderson, if you're seeing this, I don't want to fight you. But I mean, he just, to this day, I mean, there's still times that we'll bring him up, in that he was just such a big inspiration in my life. So, Master Henderson, thank you. Dad, thank you. Mom, thank you.
And last question, guys, and thank you so much for taking the time once again out of your busy schedule to hang out with us today.
Yeah.
Happy to.
If there was anybody, living or departed, that you can have a 1-hour conversation with, anyone in the world, who would it be? And why?
You know, it's honestly, it's cool because they say don't meet your heroes. And growing up off this sport, you know, you watch these people on TV and they're still in it. So we've gotten to meet Jesse Graff and Kevin Bull and, you know, all these big names in the sport. And they've all been so cool. You know, I've talked to Jesse Graff about doing stunts. And, you know, she's given me some pointers here and there. And, you know, all these people that you think are going to be a little stuck up or prima donna are super cool people. So I've gotten the chance to meet some of the people I've wanted to meet and I want to talk to. Just recently I got to talk to Chris Forsberg, Formula Drift champion, about drifting and stuff like that, and that was super cool. I've gotten to hang out with Brian Deegan, founder of the Metal Militia and the motocross stuff. That was super cool. And if it's one thing that it's taught me is that everybody has something they can teach you, something you can gain from them. So it's really hard for me to say one specific person. It's, you know, I still want to talk to Vaughn Gittin Jr. He seems like a super cool dude. He's a drift racer, stuff like that. I just like cars. Tanner Faust. Everyone I want to talk to is all about cars. It's all about cars.
I've seen the pattern. Yeah.
I could probably learn a lot from Zig Ziglar though. Business, you know, in the thoughts of, you know, contemplating owning my own business and stuff like that, and going down that route, whether it be with Ninja or with Snap-on or whatever it might be. You know, I should have gone to business school when I was in college, but you know, I've listened to some of Zig's tapes and stuff like that. Greg Plitt, you know, all those big weightlifting guys, motivational guys. I'd really love to sit down and have a conversation with Rob Bailey. You know, with creating Flag Nor Fail and the Warhouse Gym and the supplement company and doing the music and everything like that. He took one small business and used it to platform onto another business and another business, and he does all these cool things that not only I like, but that he loves, you know, that he gets to live this life that it seems like he's wanted to live because he started small with one small business and ground it out, you know, day and night work, whatever he needed to do, get into this thing, and move up to this point now. He just moved out to Montana and he's driving these trucks with tracks on them through the snow in the mountains, and he still works hard, but he seems to have this awesome life, and he really seems like someone I'd like to talk to and hang out with for a little while.
So, Rob, if you are watching this,
right?
hit us up.
Yeah.
Brittany, what are you thinking?
Like my fail.
I mean, kind of like he said, you know, we watch these people on TV, and it's like, oh man, I want to meet these people or anything like that. And I think one person I already met that was like, the way this man thinks will just blow your mind. Sam Sand is one of the most crazy and inspirational people in Ninja and in business that I've ever seen. And I've already met him, you know, but just in general, like going down that path of like interesting people, he, you know, where did he come from? Did he come from, was it Thailand?
I thought it was Cambodia.
Okay, I think he came from Cambodia when he was like 5. Was he like 5?
I don't remember that one.
He was younger, but anyways,
Super
and
big.
like, yeah, you know, and now it's to the point like we go down to the gym and I'm doing something and he's just like, Brittany, no, you do it wrong, do it like this, and I'm like, you know, and I didn't even ask, and he's yelling at me from the back of his office, like cutting hair, like I'm not joking. So he's like, straight up, he has his hair business, his weightlifting gym, and his Ninja all in one giant building, and he'll go from cutting hair to building obstacles to back, boom, 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 all around, and I'm like, you were crazy, but you were like the most inspiring man, one of the most inspiring men I like have ever met in my life. So he's definitely a good guy to talk to, definitely.
Awesome. I'm going to hook up with him later on.
He's interesting.
But guys, thank you so much for coming out, hanging out. And thank you guys to all the viewers of Intention Attention. Once again, we're with Thomas and Brittany, American Ninja Warrior, season 8 and 9. Thank you guys.